Have you ever played a game that is so good that you just can't stop talking about it? I mean, every time you're around friends and coworkers, all you want to do is to tell people to try it out. I'm talking about something so good that you're practically shaking strangers on the street to get them to buy it. Well, that's how I feel about River Towns, a SimCity style management game that is more about building placement than day-to-day management. This is a speedy little puzzle game that'll change the way you look at zoning. It's also, and I'm not joking, one of the very best games that I've played in years. Find out why when I review River Towns. Don't be overwhelmed by the board, because River Towns is a surprisingly easy game to get into. Think of it like a zoning game that combines the best elements of SimCity and Tetris. You're trying to build a town for your settlers out of a number of set puzzle pieces, all of which represent different factions and shapes. The goal is to combine these pieces in such a way that when you complete this stage, you'll earn a score high enough to get 3 stars. What, you still confused? Well, let's start at the very beginning. After you drop the first piece into the water, the level's rivers roar back to life, allowing you to start building up your city. Each level has a series of Tetris-shaped pieces that are either the blue free folk, the purple clergy, or the red nobles. With the very limited space that you have, you want to position each piece so that it's neighboring another piece of the same color. You don't want there to be any unused spots, as you'll ultimately earn more points for how many similar tiles you're neighboring. Where this gets tricky is in the zoning. Because you're often juggling several different types of pieces, you're going to need to find a way to keep them separated, all while trying to grow each of them into the unused parts of the level. This can be tricky because all the different tiles will be competing for the limited space, and you're not in control of the order of the pieces. Ideally, you're going to want to arrange the different zones so that it's just one large unbroken part of the map when you run out of the pieces, but that's easier said than done. You see, as the game progresses, new wrinkles will be added to the scoring system. For example, some levels will have bonus objectives that you can complete to earn extra points. This starts out simple, like collecting gold and surrounding dead trees with tiles to bring them back to life. Other missions will have you covering geysers or constructing temples and other buildings, missions that'll add a nice multiplier to the score at the end. At a certain point in the game, you're going to get pieces that are half red and half blue, forcing you to make tough decisions about zoning. You're suddenly forced to find new ways to connect the different colored zones, which may mean completely rethinking the flow of your city. Or maybe one of the pieces will be spread out, creating holes in your design that may be the difference between a high score or not. If you run into a piece that you don't like, you can pocket it. Watch out, because you can only skip one tile at a time. Later on, you'll also get neutral pieces and discover that building bridges between similarly colored tiles is a great way to earn a few extra points. And that's ultimately what all this is about. You're never in a level more than a few minutes, so every stage is all about squeezing every last point out of the town. I mean, anybody can lay down a bunch of random tiles without worrying about how they go together, but once you get into the nuance of the scoring, it becomes all about putting those pieces together in the most efficient way possible. The way where you're not wasting any space and all the zones are separate and connected. Once you start to understand how to earn the high scores, you're going to spend every minute of every day trying to figure out how to get the 3 stars out of some of the especially tough stages. It was at this moment when I realized that I was addicted to river towns. The truth is, the signs were all there. For as much as I wanted to push on with the story and see what new wrinkles they could throw at me next, I was actually more interested in replaying the earlier stages in hopes of getting the coveted 3 stars. This is not how I normally review a game. I'm not the kind of person who obsesses over earning the best scores or getting the highest marks out of the level. Maybe I'll pick away at those things after I'm done reviewing it, but rarely during. But I couldn't help it. It ate at me that I kept coming up short of hitting the 3 stars. Maybe I could get there if I just had more bridges or managed the space a little bit better. I'm sure I'll get it this time. And then suddenly, before I knew it, I had sunk more than 20 hours into River Towns. And the thing is, I wasn't even done yet, because I had a whole section of the map that was completely unexplored. What I thought was going to be a short puzzle game with a fun gimmick quickly spiraled out of control. And you know what? I loved every second of it. There were a few days there when all I was thinking about was how to extract the maximum points out of an especially tricky stage. I just couldn't wait to jump back in and see if I can complete it. That's a sign that you're playing a truly special game. What astonished me is that I couldn't think of too many games that scratched that same itch. Sure, the gameplay vaguely resembles a game like SimCity, but there isn't a whole lot of management going on here. And yes, the pieces certainly resemble something like Tetris, however, that's where that comparison ends. More than anything else, River Towns reminded me of Rampart. Not the bits where you're firing cannons, but rather the other half when you're trying to build and repair a giant wall around your kingdom. That's essentially what you're doing here, but the scoring is all different. Look, all I know is that it's fun. And not just fun for a little while, but the kind of game that I couldn't get enough of. And thankfully, there's a ton of content to puzzle through in River Towns. Not only do we get dozens of levels in the single-player campaign, but there's also daily challenge stages and even user-created levels. There's a whole editor in this game to let you run your own rivers and lay down a bunch of obstacles. I do wish that there was an easier way to curate and sort some of the best new stages, but my mouth waters at the thought of nearly unlimited challenges. When it comes down to it, River Towns doesn't have a lot of problems, but there are a few things that I will nitpick. For one thing, I wish that the game had a single-use undo button, or maybe a way to see what card was next in the stack. I mean, I can definitely understand if some people wouldn't want to play the game that way, but it would be nice if at least it was an option. Also, the 4 areas don't offer a lot of variety in the stages. While each part of the map offers unique obstacles and bonus missions, there's just a sameness to the backgrounds that got to me after a while. There needs to be a little bit more variety in the locations, even if it's just a cosmetic difference. Despite the somewhat limited locations, River Town still looks fantastic. It's a simple game, but I like the look of the different buildings and the puzzle pieces. There's a real charm to the cities, and that extends to some of the stages that you have to build up. I mean, you'll sometimes see the bones of what looks like a dinosaur or maybe a giant wild animal, hinting at a much more dangerous world just beyond our sight. Plus, it's just cool to see what each city looks like when you've run out of cards and the points get added up. The truth is that it really wouldn't matter what the game looked like because the core gameplay is so much fun. I mean, you could make it look like an old Game Boy game and it would still be great. Maybe a little harder to play, but still great. And that, more than anything else, is what I hope that this review conveys. River Towns isn't just another fun game. It's an exceptional puzzler that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time to come. Man, I love this game. Games like River Towns make the job of being a critic extremely easy. While it's certainly influenced by classic titles like SimCity, Tetris, and even Rampart, this addictive new puzzler manages to stand on its own with a clever premise and a wide variety of challenges. Easy to pick up and learn, this is the kind of game that invades your thoughts and dreams when you're not playing. And even when you do complete the lengthy campaign, there's still user-generated stages to tackle. You wouldn't know it by its unassuming look and name, but River Towns really is one of the year's best games. Hey, thanks for watching my review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now, here's the question I have for you. What's your favorite city building game? You know, like SimCity or City Skylines, that sort of thing. There's a really great one that I wanted to cover a few years ago called Urbex City Builder that just blew me away. Honestly, I still kick myself for not covering it, it's that good. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we're going to be back later this week with more reviews and surprises. Why wait for that? I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,